Lisa adored the scent of old things. Dusty books, aged wood, and forgotten trinkets held a certain charm. She loved imagining the stories they could tell. Weekends were spent scouring antique shops and flea markets, searching for hidden treasures. Each piece held the promise of a connection to the past, a tangible piece of history to bring into her home. Little did she know, her latest acquisition would bring more than just history. It would bring terror. Lisa had always been drawn to mirrors. Their reflective surfaces held a certain mystique, a glimpse into another world. So, when she stumbled upon the ornate, silver-framed mirror tucked away in a dimly lit corner, her breath caught. It was beautiful yet unsettling. The glass seemed to shimmer even in the shop's poor lighting. A chill ran down her spine as she reached out to touch its cool surface. The shopkeeper, a frail old man with knowing eyes, watched her intently. "That mirror," he rasped, his voice barely a whisper, "has a history. Be careful." Lisa, captivated by the mirror's allure, brushed off his words as mere theatrics. She paid for the mirror, excited to bring it home. That night she hung it in her bedroom, unaware of the darkness she had invited into her life. The mirror was indeed beautiful. Its ornate silver frame was intricately crafted, depicting scenes of nature intertwined with mythical creatures. The glass itself was crystal clear, reflecting Lisa's image with perfect precision. Yet, there was something unsettling about it, a subtle distortion, a flicker within its depths. At times it felt like the reflection was not entirely her own. The first few nights were uneventful. Then, the whispers began. Soft, unintelligible murmurs that seemed to emanate from the mirror's surface. They were faint at first, easily dismissed as the creaking of an old house settling, but they grew stronger, more insistent, especially when Lisa was alone. Then came the shadows, fleeting glimpses of movement in the mirror's reflection. Dark, indistinct figures lurking at the edge of her vision. They would vanish as quickly as they appeared, leaving Lisa questioning her sanity. Fear began to gnaw at her. The whispers, the shadows, the unsettling feeling that she was constantly being watched. Something was wrong. Terribly wrong. Sleep became a distant memory. Lisa would lie awake, staring at the mirror's reflection, her heart pounding in her chest. The whispers intensified, transforming into hushed voices. They spoke of sorrow, of anger, of a deep, abiding rage. The shadows grew bolder, taking on more defined shapes. She saw glimpses of faces twisted in agony, hands reaching out from the mirror's depths. One night, the terror reached a fever pitch. Lisa awoke to the feeling of a cold hand clamped over her mouth. She opened her eyes to find a grotesque figure looming over her bed. Its eyes, glowing red embers, burned into her soul. Paralyzed with fear, she could only watch as the figure reached out towards her, its skeletal fingers scraping against her skin. Then, as quickly as it appeared, the apparition vanished. Lisa was left trembling, drenched in a cold sweat. The room was silent, except for the faint whisper of her own ragged breathing. The mirror hung on the wall, its surface deceptively serene. But Lisa knew the truth. The mirror was not just haunted. It was a conduit to something evil, something ancient and powerful. Desperate for answers, Lisa delved into the mirror's history. Research led her to old newspaper clippings and town records. The mirror she discovered had a long and tragic past. It had belonged to a powerful witch, burned at the stake centuries ago for practicing dark magic. Legend had it that the witch cursed the mirror with her dying breath, trapping her vengeful spirit within its reflective depths. The mirror, it seemed, had passed through many hands over the centuries, each owner meeting an untimely and gruesome end. Accidents, suicides, even murders, all linked to the mirror's presence. Lisa realized with chilling certainty that she was not just dealing with a ghost. She was dealing with a powerful entity, fueled by centuries of anger and despair. Armed with this knowledge, Lisa tried to get rid of the mirror. She tried selling it, donating it, even smashing it to pieces, but nothing worked. The mirror always found its way back to her, often reappearing in her bedroom overnight. Trapped and terrified, Lisa knew she needed help. She needed an expert, someone who understood the supernatural forces she was dealing with. The mirror's presence was suffocating. It felt like a living entity, watching Lisa's every move, feeding on her fear. Sleep offered no escape, haunted by vivid nightmares of the witch and her gruesome demise. She tried covering the mirror with thick blankets, even boarding it up completely. Yet, the whispers still penetrated. The shadows still danced at the edges of her vision. Lisa's once vibrant life had shrunk to the confines of her own home. She was a prisoner in her own haven. Fear became her constant companion, a gnawing dread that clung to her like a shroud. Friends, concerned by her sudden withdrawal and gaunt appearance, received only vague explanations. How could she possibly explain the horrors that awaited her every time she looked in the mirror? One evening, while researching ancient curses and paranormal phenomena, Lisa stumbled upon a name: Dr. Samuel Thorne. A renowned paranormal investigator, Dr. Thorne was said to have dealt with similar cases, freeing people from the clutches of malevolent entities. He was her last